What's going on, guys? My name is Yellow S2K and welcome to some Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game 3. I'm excited to bring you guys some more content about this game and give you almost an update of where the game is at right now. And my goal here is to bring you an honest impression of what I think of the game in its current state. And we're specifically talking about the physics of the game, the writing, and how it feels. This build is so basic that I really can't tell you much else. And I'll show you that right now. Basically, it's single event or time attack only on 450s for both of those. You can do some online multiplayer. There's been a couple little glitches with that, but not too bad. Basically, I would expect multiplayer to be great in the final version with dedicated servers. Or you can come over here to rider customization, but you can't actually play with the gear, the helmets, the goggles, the boots, all of that. It's mainly just pick male or female, which is pretty cool. Again, having a female in the game, that's a new addition. Change your information, pick your nickname on the back. Font, which there's only a few options. Maybe that'll change as well, but pretty bare bones. Color, there's actually a lot of colors, which is pretty cool. Same thing with numbers, your font basically, and your color. You can pick the height of your rider and nationality. So pretty bare bones there. You can go all the way to state, which is nice, so it goes a little deep. But again, not much here. This build is all about the physics. How does the game feel? Are there some improvements? And what do I predict going into the final build of the game? So that's what I want to bring you guys right now. I think it's best to show you guys time attack to start off with so we can specifically talk about how the game feels. We're going to start with Barsha, why not, on the Yamaha, and Oakland. Keep in mind race options are kind of everything on hard basically. So advanced physics, joint brakes off, manual rider weight, manual transmission, rewind is off, and then flow aid off as well. So keep in mind you can change that depending on what you want to do with the game, and there might be some added features in the final version. You'll hear me say that a lot, but it's important to know that things definitely can change, and I would expect them to change because they already have in the two versions that I've played. Bike setup, you can make some adjustments here as you would expect. For the video, definitely just going to keep it all stock and show you guys what I think. Alright, here we are on track as Barsha. The Yamaha sounds a little bit different than the other bikes, which is pretty sweet, true to real life. But there's a few things I really want to touch base with you guys on right away. The stuff that really matters. Whips is the one everyone seems to care about the most. There are canned whips. That first whip was a canned whip. But they have added a lot of freedom on the bike. So this right here, not pretty, but that was all just with me moving the sticks, not a canned whip. So I'm going to go pretty extreme on a few jumps. You'll have to bear with me. It's not going to be the prettiest gameplay, but I want you guys to kind of see what you can do. Again, that pretty ugly, but was all just with me moving the sticks. You've never been able to do anything like that in these milestone games, so that is a huge improvement. Now again, I am not that good at it yet. It's going to take some time, I think, for everybody to be able to figure out how to do those whips and make them look really, really cool. But it's doable. Even that, like that was just me moving the sticks around and playing with it. So that's really the big thing. The whips are a massive improvement, and again, I think things will still change before the final release of the game. You have a lot of freedom, and we'll play with the whips a little bit more before I move to the next topic here. That was all just me. No canned whips, so you can see there's a lot of freedom. And I think the last thing I'll do with the whips, to really just get to the point here, is to just show you the extreme, right? Look how far I can move it. I mean, it can pretty much do 360s and stuff. So you have a lot of freedom with the bike now to be able to move it around. Is it perfect? No. I think it's a little wonky, but I think everyone's going to be able to figure out kind of those cool ways to throw whips. Maybe not like that. So they give you that freedom. It's not perfect, but it's a huge, huge improvement over the previous game. So keep that in mind, everybody that's really worried about the whips. Definitely an improvement, and again, this isn't the final build. Okay, the other big thing that I want to talk about is the preload system. So you basically have three options for preload. You can just hit a jump with no leaning back on the sticks or no pulling back on the sticks, and it's just a neutral no preload, right? So what I'm doing there, small jump, no need for preload. Same thing here, onto a step on, no preload, no preload. But here, I'm gonna pull both sticks back. Now that's a new one. Both sticks back gives you basically a seat bounce. So kind of, I'm calling it a double preload. And it's really giving you a lot more height and distance. And with that, it really changes the game. So right here, let's see, no preload, both sticks. You can see I shouldn't have been able to get over that, right? But with both sticks being pulled back, we went really high and really far. That's the real new addition. Again, both sticks back, you can see how high we go. You definitely get penalized for being really high in the air. So it's definitely not the fast way around the track, unless you're trying to hit like a massive quad or a fiver or something. But it's nice to have that available. You can actually use it to really help you out when you're in a pickle, which basically means we just have closer racing so somebody doesn't get just totally screwed. And you're going to use a mix of all of them, right? So no preload, right? No preload. Both sticks back to try to get some of that distance. Not necessarily the best showcase there. I used it again on the exit. You can see that extra boost. Again, that's just me playing with the sticks on the whip. Nothing here because I kind of want to land on top, maybe double out. Both sticks to get all the way over. Now we're just going to try to do a little canned whip again. I still like using the canned whips at times. I know they're not the prettiest, but out of convenience, it's kind of nice. You definitely can loop pretty easy. But, so again, your three options for preload are lean back with one stick, and that's just your normal preload. Or you can lean back with both sticks and get the double preload or seat bounce. Or you can just, you know, go off the jump with no leaning back or no pulling back on either of your joysticks to just go off the jump neutral, kind of like you would do here. You don't want to preload on a big single like that, right? Or here, when you just want to stay low to the ground on a wall. So that's the big things that I think everyone's really more concerned about. And those are the things that really change the game quite a bit. But I will tell you, my favorite change to this game is neither one of those. I think you all know that I think the ground physics in this game are pretty nice. I think it's definitely an improvement in this game over the previous ones. And I think this is the biggest improvement, and for my taste, the best one. So let's try to see. It's not just ground physics, but it's the weight of the rider. So in the past, you'd be able to go off of a jump, and I'll try to show it to you. It's a little tough, but okay, so we're going off the track. I'd be able to pull and move the rider back onto the track. You can move the rider in the air 10 feet or more to the left and right. This game, you can't do it. It's all, whatever you go off the lip, like whatever trajectory you have going off the lip is what you're stuck with. You cannot move the bike around in the air like you have been able to in previous games. And that is a huge difference and honestly a massive improvement to me. It gets rid of a bunch of the people just kind of riding sloppy and getting away with it. This game really promotes clean riding. And I'm definitely learning the game. And this gameplay is not the best because I'm trying to show you guys features, but you cannot get away with that. And it's not just in the air, it's also on the ground. And it all boils down to me, I'm calling it rider weight, right? So when you get into a corner, you can't just go really, really fast mid-corner. You're either going to slide out like that, or you're going to end up having an issue with basically understeer, right? So the bike's not going to want to turn. You need to go slow in, and then once you really get on that throttle to get through the corner, you are stuck with that trajectory through your corner. See, a little bit of understeer there. You can't just keep carving like it's nothing. You really have to plan ahead in your corners, and a lot of that I think boils down to the rider feels like it actually has some weight now. It's not as floaty despite what it might look like. Again, I think that's really the biggest improvement. So you have the whips, you have the preload system. Those are all good changes and improvements. But then you also have just the weight that the rider has. It affects cornering, it affects how you go off of a jump, and really it gets rid of some of the sloppiness and silliness that most of us can get away with in these games. Now it really boils down to the player, right? You have to control this guy. and really think about it. Plan ahead in your corners. As I screw up that corner, you really have to plan ahead when you're going off of a jump. You can't just go, you know, fifth tapped and hit something at a weird angle and be able to pull it back on track. You just can't do that. And that's a really, really nice improvement if you ask me. So anyway, that's the one thing I did want to share with you guys. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to maybe show you guys another track or so you can see the differences in the tracks. There's a lot out there, and I think it's important for me to show you guys just a quick snippet of a few of the other tracks. I'll try to get halfway decent laps on a couple tracks and just show you the quick, to the point gameplay. The last thing I want to show you is the AI and kind of the intro videos because they are pretty sweet. So let's hop right in. 450, we're going to go Atlanta. Just so you know, you can see I have it on short, but realistic difficulty here. So just so you can see that this is the most difficult AI. I will say they're challenging, but to me, it seems very similar to Supercross 2. Just so you know, it's not any harder, but I will say the AI behaves a little bit better. You can see the normal fireworks. This is kind of cool, the rider coming up through, and the actual track you're going to ride in the background. Just nice details. You know, definitely a positive. This game does the visuals very, very well. Your normal gate selection, same kind of view there. Let's hop right on. We're actually going to let the AI go to start off. Actually, screw it. Let's see how hard it is to get a whole shot. Pretty good jump. All the way pushed to the outside. Oh, we got it. We got that whole shot. So kind of your generic starts. I know there is kind of a almost glitch right now where you can kind of go through the gate as soon as it starts to drop. I prefer to just not try to cheat it, but let's just keep an eye on the AI, and I think it's almost better. Let's see what they're like in this little small pack, and then we'll maybe get into the thick of everybody just to kind of see what that looks like as well. So you can see these guys are all taking pretty much different lines, which is kind of cool. And they'll race you that way too. So again, just kind of nice to see. Oh, slide out. That they all do take different lines. Let's see what it's like maybe a little bit more in the pack here. Again, think hardest difficulty. Reed not giving me an inch there. Oh, might go into the tough block. Yep. Jesus. Again, those tough blocks are super, super gnarly. Let's lift off a little bit and get in a battle really closely with these guys. Oh, little OJ. What I have noticed is the AI will fight you a little bit more than they have in previous games. They'll take different lines. They'll get a little bit more creative to try to get around you, which is pretty sweet. It's definitely a more enjoyable experience trying to battle these guys. Trying to take the inside on LeMay. Whoa, got a weird kick off of that. Sorry, LeMay, you kind of got the bad end of the stick there. But you can see, kind of somewhat typical. I don't know if it comes across. That was a little weird glitch there too, throwing my bike sideways like that. But they will battle you, and they're not going to make it easy on you. But it's nice to see the tracks at night too, since I was doing time trials where it's pretty much during the day, I think. But my closing thoughts on this game. And again, this is a preview build. This is not the final version, and I expect it to improve from here. Both maybe in whips, in the ground physics, air physics. Just, I think I see that happening. So just keep that in mind. But the biggest thing I have to say about this game is honestly, it's getting harder and harder for me to tell people to buy these games. And I never tried to tell you guys to buy the games just because, you know, I've got an early copy of the game. I've been lucky enough to do some cool things with Milestone, and I've appreciated all of that. But I will never let that affect my opinion on the game. I think that would get rid of what the whole purpose of these types of videos are. So my thoughts, again, on this current build, which really focuses purely on physics of the game and in tracks, is we'll start with tracks. The tracks are really nice. I really am enjoying the tracks. They all feel very different. It's fun to hot lap them, and part of that's due to the physics of the game. The visuals, very nice. As you would expect, if anything, a little bit better than previous games, but very similar, let's be real. The whips, nice improvement, right? Some more freedom, but they're a little wonky. I'm sure we'll all figure out how to do a somewhat cool whip, but it's still going to be a little bit wonky. There's just no way around that. It just will be that way. I do like the preload with the double sticks and the balance that if you go too high in the air, you're penalized basically. You're going to lose time when you're way, way high in the air, but it'll save you so you can maybe still clear that jump and you can continue having a battle with your friends or the AI. That's definitely a positive. The weight of the rider is really nice. You can't change direction in air. Again, that kind of gets rid of just some of the bullshit that would happen before. It's all about being a little bit more accurate in this game, which to me makes it feel a little bit more rewarding. The negative. It's very similar to previous games, and that's why it's becoming more and more difficult for me to say, buy it, buy it, buy it. I think you need to evaluate how much that $60 is worth it to you, or whatever they end up selling this for, and decide to you, do you want to wait and maybe see what the full reviews are like, to see the other additional content that is still coming, like the race director mode. Dedicated servers should be really nice for online gameplay. The track creator, the compound is going to be sweet with all of the Supercross tracks on it from the factory test tracks. There are some serious positives here that we aren't talking about in this game, so keep that in mind, or sorry, in this build. But as far as physics, tracks alone, it's a ton of fun, but it's very similar to previous titles, except for the few things I've said that are improvements. Whips, the preload system, the tracks I say have more character and are more unique from each other, so it doesn't feel like you're riding the same track over and over again. And those are some serious positives. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. So you have to make your own call, but I'll tell you what you need to expect is a game that's pretty similar to the previous ones with some small changes to make it a little bit better. And are those changes important to you or not? Again, hopefully this gives you a clearer picture of what I really think about this game. Again, preview version, not all the features are in here, and I expect some improvements. So take that for what it is, and hopefully this is a little bit helpful for you guys that are still thinking about the game, or maybe you're thinking real negative, or maybe you need a reality check thinking that this is going to be something totally different. It won't be totally different, but there's going to be some nice changes to it to make it a slightly different game. And I'm going to enjoy it, I can tell you that, but I don't know if it will last, and that's a question you'll have to ask yourself. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this. I really, really appreciate it, and until next time, I will talk to you later. Peace out.